What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. Today we're going to do a floor 80 onslaught walkthrough. As you see, we are on the Forest Crossroads, and it's floor 80. Now, a lot of people are concerned about doing Ancient Power because they're wondering if they can get to the onslaught floor that they're going to eventually need to get to. Now, as you do more and more Ancient Power resets, the required floor and your starting floor will continue to go up. Now, once you get to 30 Ancient Power resets, your next AP reset is going to start you off on floor 51, and you're going to have to go from floor 51 to floor 80, or 30 maps, to be able to use Ancient Power again. Now, today I wanted to do a walkthrough and kind of just discuss the importance of the proper building versus the mobs that are present. And we're going to do this on my alt account here. We're going to do it as if this account had 300 Ascension. So I'm going to go through all the Ascension in a minute. As you see, I've currently reset them all to 0. And then I've got no Gilded Shards, no Ancient Power, and no 10 of 10 mods. So as we look through, I've got my Nuke Monk here. This is the only geared hero that I'm going to be using. I've got decent mods on it. However, I've got no 10 of 10s, so there's no perfect mods. And I've got a few real eyesores like that power chip right here. Now, let's go ahead and set up our heroes first things first. Now, this is going to be our DPS hero, and it's going to do Skyguard Towers. Now, at 300 Ascension, we would have 100 Ascension points per category to spend. So let's go ahead and spend our 100. We're going to go 20 points into defense crit chance, 20 points into defense crit damage. This is our Skyguard builder, so I'm going to go right into... Actually, I got mixed emotions on the range gambit or the Skyguard slow duration. I think I'm going to go into the range gambit, so we're going to put 50 points there. So there's 90 points spent. We've got 10 more points to spend in this category to put us at our 300 Ascension. So let's go ahead and put 10 points right into movement speed just for the quality of life. Now in the defense category, we're going to spend our first 20 points on defense speed. That leaves us 80 more points to spend, and we're going to spend these 80 points directly into Flame Aura damage. And then on the offense category, this is our Nuke Monk. If I take a look, I'm sitting at 418,000 health, which is pretty darn decent. And that is coming from the hero health I've got on the weapon mainly. Do I have hero health on any gear? Or yeah, I have hero health on some gear as well. I was wondering why I was quite that high. I was going to say that is pretty decent hero health. So I am going to actually bypass the hero health. I'm going to go 20 points into heroic boost damage. And that leaves me 80 more points. I'm going to put those next 80 points directly into the hero damage. Now this hero is complete, 100 Ascension spent in each category, simulating 300 total Ascension. Then we're going to move over to our auras, and this is our Flame Aura / Lightning Strike Aura Monk. We're going to do the exact same thing. Defense crit chance, defense crit damage, that's 40 points. We've got another 60 to spend, so let's put 50 points into the Flame Aura range gambit, and that's going to leave us 10 more. On this hero, I'm going to do the same thing and put 10 into movement speed. Now, it would probably be a smarter move to put the 10 into hero crit chance, but I'm just going into movement speed anyway, just for the quality of life. Now, once again, defense speed is going to be what we're shooting for, and then that's going to leave us 80 points to go into the Flame Aura damage, as this is going to be our Flame Aura builder. Then we're taking a look at the offense category. We don't need to use it all, as this is not a hero that we're going to play actively. So then we go over to our EV2. Now we're going to be building weapon manufacturers with the EV2. We're going to go 20 points into defense crit chance, 20 points into defense crit damage. Now that leaves us another 60 points. I've got nowhere else to put it, as we don't have a range gambit for the weapon manufacturer. So I'm just going to put 20 points into the run speed and then call it good. And in the defense category, we're going to go 20 points into defense speed and 80 points into the weapon manufacturer. We're not going to be using this hero for DPS either, so we can leave the offense category empty. And then moving over to some Earth Shatters. Earth Shatters, we're going to go 20 into defense crit chance, 20 into damage, 50 into the range gambit, and 10 into movement speed just for that quality of life. Then once again, we're going to go 20 into defense speed and 80 directly into the Earth Shatter Tower's damage. Now, I'm sure I will probably use another hero, so let's go ahead and set one up. Let's go with a Poison Dart Tower. This is going to be a Poison Dart Tower builder, so we're going to just rinse and repeat the exact same thing with all of the Ascensions. So, 80 points into the Poison Dart Tower. And then, what if I wanted to use, say, some Ballistas as well? Let's take a look at the Ballista Squire, and let's go... Once again, exact same setup. 80 points into the ballista damage. And we are good to go. Now, looking through the different defenses, I'm probably not going to use the Fissures here, so I'm not even going to bother setting up the Lavamancer. However, in the Ballista, I'm using Crit Servo, Defense Rate Servo, and Piercer Servo. The only required mod here is Piercer Servo, as if we're going to use Ballistas, we want to be able to pierce shields, and Piercer Servo is going to do it. For Shards, I'm going with Defense Rate, Destruction, and Splody Harpoon. In our Flame Auras, we're going to use Power Servo, Defense Rate Servo, and Melee Boom Servo. Now, remember, none of these are necessarily best in slot mods. These are just quality mods that I found, so I'm using those. They're all positive for that particular defense, so they're all going to add something to that defense itself. For Shards, we're going to go with Encroaching Flames from Chaos 2, Destruction from Chaos 1, and Defense Rate from Chaos 4. For Weapon Manufacturers, we're going with Shocking Revelations, Water Servo, and Defense Range Servo. And I'm just going to use Defense Rate and Deadly Strikes. I'm not even going to put a Shard slot in. Normally, I would use my Vicious Strikes here. However, I wanted to do this without Hyper Shards either, so we're just going to leave that slot completely empty. And then for the Earth Shatters, we're going with Shatterquake, Power Servo, and Defense Rate Servo. And for Shards, we're going with Earth Toss and Defense Rate. Now, these empty holes, I would put Destruction in there. I don't have any more Destruction Shards, so nothing I can do about it. I can't just make them appear out of midair, so we're just going to leave those Shard slots empty. Now, first things first, let's take a look at these flyer lanes. Now, we've got a Just Timmy lane here. It's Toxikazi and Power Block. So, any of the kobolds, which are actually will be no kobolds on this lane, so Toxikazi we can ignore. Power Block, all enemies are immune to damage from abilities, but take increased weapon damage. That works out perfect for the Nuke Monk, as we are going to dish out some weapon damage when we need to. And then we've got EMP Zappers that cannot be slowed. Now, one important thing with Onslaught is if you can't slow them, you stun them. If you can't stun them, you slow them. Always try to get some crowd control in the mix. It's going to just make your life a lot easier. So let's go ahead and start right off with that. We're going to stun them up with a Weapon Manufacturer. We're going to put one on the lane for the mobs. And I'm going to put another one kind of up high here for the flyers. Now we know we do have the flyers. They're going to get stunned up right there, but we are going to need some way to kill them. So let's get, can I get it on top of here? See if I can put it right on top. It looks like it doesn't want to let me. Well, let me put it over here. What the heck? Alright, we'll just slap it right here then and call it good. And we're going to need a little bit more damage on this lane, as just stunning them is not going to get the job done. We've got to kill them as well. So let's go ahead and go with 2 Flame Auras right there in the lane, and we'll call that one good. Now we've got another flyer lane over here at this side. As you see, we've got Stabby Dargans, which means we're going to have Wyverns. They're armored, so they're going to take 50% reduced damage from physical damage, but they're going to take 25% increased damage from magic damage. These enemies are headstrong, so they can't be stunned. And then down below, we got Frost Whompers. Now, we've got Cyborgs, we've got Frost Orcs, we've got all sorts of things that are going to freeze up the lane right here, and we need to be conscious of that. First things first, though, we're going to go ahead and throw in a weapon manufacturer, as we can't slow this lane as it's got the Frost Orcs. We can't stun the lane either, actually, as it does have Headstrong there as well. So we can't really use any CC on this lane. Now what this tells me right out front is this is the lane I'm going to need to DPS on. So let's just give ourselves a little bit of support here. And we know that the flyers are going to dip down and fly directly through here. So why don't we find a way to kill them right there? And we'll go with... See, is the Flame Aura going to reach up top? Yeah, it looks like they're going to fly right through that Flame Aura. And then we'll put a Sky Guard, say, down over here. Actually, let's move it even over to the... Well, let's put it on this side. Why not? We'll put a Sky Guard right here. Now, we are going to need a little bit of help on this lane, as this lane we're going to be DPSing ourselves, and we see it does have Pilot on, so enemies take increased damage per condition they are under. Conditions would be stunned. These enemies can't be stunned. Slowed. Frost enemies can't be slowed, so that kind of eliminates that one. But then there's also poison. There's also drench. So we can drench these enemies and we can poison them. And that tells me that I'm going to need a poison dart tower or two right here on this tower. Or on this lane, pardon me. Now I'm going to go ahead and come back with them a little ways. And let's go ahead and throw 2 of them down here. Now, in addition to that, I just need a little bit more power. So I'm going to throw a ballista in behind it just to help me out in clearing out the pack if anything pushes back. Now if we take a look over here, we've got Psy Lava Whompers. Now these enemies can't be slowed, but they can be stunned. Now there are cyborgs. Cyborgs, of course, are going to disable any traps, auras, and nodes. So I am still going to use some nodes, but I'm going to be a little bit smart with their placement. I'm going to put one node way over here and another one node way over there. And there's a pretty solid chance that these will still get stunned. However, that's going to help me out a little bit with that possibility. Now, I think we'll throw a Flame Aura like right about there. If the cyborgs are going to aggro to one of the nodes, I think we want them hitting the Weapon Man node and not the Flame Aura. So I'm actually going to move that back a little further, making the nodes the closest thing. If a cyborg does aggro to one of the nodes, it's going to hit off to the side and not hit that Flame Aura. Now, once again, we've got the cyborgs, so we don't want to get our stuff CC'd up. And one of the easiest ways to counter that is just using towers. If you've got an enemy that disables ground traps, auras, and nodes, the instant answer is don't use ground traps, auras, and nodes. And then we've got Mob Gallery, which this Mob Gallery lane should be the easiest lane in theory. Now the enemies are going to change on this one every wave. However, we can CC the mobs up. We don't have cyborgs in the lane, and that really is some of the big limitations for the heroes I have. So let's go ahead and stun them up. Let's go ahead and throw some damage on them. We're going to damage them with Flame Auras. Do we want a Poison Dart Tower too? I'm tempted to throw another PDT over here. I tell you what, let's just go ahead and set this lane up where we're going to be able to essentially ignore it. And we'll go with a Lightning Strike Aura, and you know I've got no Ascension into, or pardon me, a Flame Aura. I've got no Ascension at all into my Lightning Strike Aura, but let's go ahead and use a LSA in the mix too, with Destruction, Defense Rate, and Vampiric Empowerment. Now remember, it's still going to get the benefit of the Defense Crit Chance and Defense Crit Damage, but with nothing into the range gambit, these are going to be some baby LSAs. Let's go ahead and slap one end, say right there in the middle. Now I've got 200 DU left. One area that I'm definitely concerned about is this side, so I'm going to go ahead and upgrade this lane just to hope that I'm not going to have any issues over there. And then I'm going to focus on DPSing this Frost lane, as this Frost lane should clearly be my biggest problem. So with 50 DU left, let's see, where can we put it? Or 50 green mana. Let's throw it right into this Ballista and see if we can't get a little bit more pain dished out in that Psy Lava Whomper lane. So let's go ahead and get things started and check it out here and see how we can do. Now, I do want to get some upfront damage in on these guys, and I just do not want to die. So we should be able to really spawn camp this lane. I'm hoping that as long as the rest of the map is going pretty smooth, I can just DPS this lane down with the hero and not even have to worry about the defenses. But the rest of the map has to be going smoothly, of course, for that to be a realization. So I'm keeping an eye on the mini-map as I DPS this one down. And it looks like that middle western lane has got a lot of mobs coming through. But the mobs are hitting the roadblock, as remember, those mobs can be stunned, and they are. So just putting the pain on the rest of this lane, and looking at the minimap, everything is holding pretty strong. So just using the correct defenses versus the correct enemies is winning the battle here on floor 80. Only 70 mobs left. As soon as this lane clears, I'm going to run over and assist that big pack. And now we've got an assassin coming. Let's let the PDTs and the ballista help us out a little on the assassin. And I still got wrecked. And they're finally pushing through that other lane. So I'm going to have to jump down and eliminate that problem really quick. But a few upgrades should remedy that situation without a doubt. And there we go, just one baddie left. It's actually that assassin, so I'm just going to wait for that assassin right here. And see if he decides to come out. There he is right there. And there we go, assassin down. Now, alright, so this lane got pushed through. This is obviously one of the tougher lanes. However, it's mob gallery, so it can change frequently with the mobs that are coming. It looks like we've got the same flavor of mobs, so let's just do a round of upgrades through that lane, and I'm hoping that's going to remedy the problem. Now, over here in this lane, once again, we want to just make sure we're able to ignore it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit both of those flame R's one more time. Same thing right here. If we can ignore these other lanes, we can just DPS down the last lane that we're working on. So let's get some upgrades in here. In fact, let's just take that ballista all the way to the roof. Nice. It is at tier 5 now and able to get the job done. And, you know, I'll throw one upgrade here, as I do need someone to run to with the assassins, and this seems like the only place I'm going to have to go. So let's go ahead and get wave 2 going. And this wave, we should be able to put a little bit less focus on the other lanes. Now, I am going to have to go over and assist anytime a boss comes. And that's why I do have defenses in this lane, even though currently I'm not taking advantage of any of them. So I'm more than happy letting those defenses not do anything down there, as they are just my last resort. And I'm going to try to burn this lane down and keep an eye on the minimap at the same time. See a big push coming in that middle western lane again. Let's see how far these guys make it this time. Actually looks like, oh no, it's not clear yet. I was going to say it looks like this lane is clear, but it is still not quite there. And we've got a Plaguing Hawk coming, and we see the Plaguing Hawk is coming all the way over from that southwest lane. You gotta be getting really close here on the mobs on this lane. They are still coming though. That is for darn sure. And here comes the assassin. So let's go over here and let our ballista and PDT get some work in. Close one there. I almost died again to that assassin. And then now, let's go take care of these trouble lanes. We lost a Sky Guard there. I think that was from a dive bomber. Or no, it was from that little lightning bug. And then the Plaguing Hawk, we should be able to make just small work of him. And there we go. Now, I did lose a Sky Guard tower, so we're going to have to get that back down. So let's go ahead and drop another Sky Guard, and I'm going to throw an upgrade on it this time, just for good measure. Now, I'm doing pretty good here, and this lane actually held that time, but it did get pushed. So I'm going to throw one more round of ups on this lane, just to try to eliminate any potential problem that I could have here. As we see, we've got cyborgs this wave, so the lane is changing. We're going to have cyborgs, which means this stuff is going to get disabled. Now let's take a look at this lane real quick. I think we're doing good with that tier 5 ballista here. Now, since we have cyborgs here now, this build is no longer valid for that lane. As 62 cyborgs come in, they are going to disable all of these ground traps, artisan nodes. So let's go ahead and scrap all of this stuff. And why not try out some ballistas? Let's see. I can try a little stun, but we're going to have to put it way out of the way and hopefully in a position where we can eliminate the cyborg aggro. Is it going to pass over? Yeah, it looks like it's still going to cover the lane. They may come over and hit this node. We're going to have to see how it goes. But let's get... Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put one node down. Let's put one node down way over here. Make sure it's still hitting the lane, which it is. And that's going to leave me 140 DU. So that's going to allow me 2 ballistas. Let's just go one right next to each other. And then 20 DU left. I can actually use that 20 DU over here for another lightning strike, but I'm going to put it on this Timmy lane here. Now these ballistas are going to have some work to do, so we better get some upgrades on them. Let's jack these things up as high as we can get them. And we can't get them both all the way to tier 5, but definitely putting a nice little dent into them. And back over to the lane that we're going to DPS on. And let's just keep an eye on this one and watch the minimap. Getting things done over here. And it appears that nothing is really making a big push on the minimap. We see that although the cyborgs are getting relatively close to those ballistas, they are disappearing before they get past. So I do just want to keep an eye on that, and now it actually looks like they're coming dangerously close to making the turn. Yep, and that they are, so let's just go over and focus down this lane and see if we can't get a little bit of hero DPS going right here. Apparently my ballistas are just not up to par with handling it. Yep, they are getting just wrecked. And the weapon man did indeed get stunned over there. That's just a lot of cyborgs, no doubt. We got nothing to kill this assassin. We'll just drop him off in front of these ballistas. Let's get a little bit of work into Gregory now. And there we go, wave complete. Now, our ballistas got wrecked. And we're going to have to take a look at what is coming this wave. It looks like we've got the cyborgs again. We know that the weapon manufacturer was not effective. So, and we also know that we didn't have quite enough power with the ballistas that we had. So instead of going 2 ballistas, we're going to get rid of that weapon manufacturer. And now we're going to go 3 ballistas. So let's dump all of our mana right into it once again. See if we can't get these ballistas a little bit juicier and get a little bit more power down that lane. I've got 100 left. I'm going to put it into that Skyguard. And then once again, it is down to the staring at the minimap game as I'm going to come back up to this lane and DPS it down from here. Just going to save that 113 mana that I was able to pick up there at the end, and we'll throw that into upgrades for next wave. So just keeping an eye on the minimap again. Those cyborgs are just definitely meaty. The dots are disappearing, but they are pushing. Actually, 2 just made it all the way past. So let's go put a little bit of damage on those. Drop this assassin off with his friends. And then get the rest of this lane burned down here. Now I do have to watch that original lane I was watching, as that lane was not cleared yet. I thought I saw another assassin coming, apparently not. Oh, there it is. And we got the death. It's a little sketchy here, but we're getting there. I just need to revive. And looks like we're able to get the job done. We got the captain coming in hot at the end, but we're doing good. Drop this guy off with his friends again. Looks like the Lava Guardian decided to come back up after us. And then we've got Scarnash as the only boss left, or only mob left. So I'm just going to sit here and wait for Scarnash to come. And there we go. Now, we didn't lose any defenses that time, and this lane actually held up versus the rest of what was coming out of there. So that tells me maybe I can have a little bit more faith in this lane. However, I think I'm just going to go ahead and jack all of these ballistas up the rest of the way. Let's get them all the way up. We'll throw, what, an upgrade there. That leaves 100 left. Oh, this is wave 5 now. I think we might be good. I'll put it right there on that ballista just in case we have another emergency. Which I'm assuming... Oh, this time we have hex throwers. The mob gallery, you always want to check the lane, as the mobs will change all the time. Now with the hex throwers, that actually changes up the entire thing, as we can now go back to stun locking the enemies completely into the ground. And I'm just going to do that with a weapon manufacturer and 2 or 3 flame auras. Not near as important to get it jacked up as high as his ballistas were. And that will leave me a little bit of DU left to maybe get that flame aura up all the way. And this is going to be an entirely different wave, as that mob gallery lane now is going to just be a non-issue. So let's just go ahead and DPS this lane down once again, saving all that stuff just for a last resort in case I need to run away. Now, using the Frostfire Remnants mod and the Grave Infection mod, this is also a very good source of assassin removal. Now, these assassins are headstrong, so I can't stun them, which is making it a little bit more of a challenge. However, the reason we put all that hero health on was to be able to carry those guys back over to our defenses. So just carrying them back over here. And let's just keep working on this lane. Now we got the Drakenlord coming out of this lane, which is kind of a gift, considering we wanted to DPS this lane anyway. So we've got a boss coming right here where we're already at, and we can just put the hurt on him right here out of the gates. So of course I'm using the Burning Strike Shard, and wrecked right in the face. However, we got plenty of time to revive, so no big deal there. And let's get him ignited again, and just let that ballista do its thing. Now we've got a Cannon Ogre too, and the Cannon Ogre is coming. Go ahead and throw Dragolich on the Cannon Ogre, and it's good game for the Cannon Ogre. And then now just waiting for our last assassin, and there we go. So obviously was not the prettiest run. I had lots of hero deaths there. I had a couple of close calls there. However, this is an example of what you can get done with a limited amount of Ascension, no Gilded Shards, no Ancient Power, and no Hyper Shards. You can still push to floor 80. Floor 80 is the highest you will ever possibly have to go in the Ancient Power reset system, and hopefully this encourages some people to make the push in Onslaught. And just main thing is take your time. Take your time, look at the lanes each wave, as lanes can change, and collect the loot. Let's grab that Chaos 8 amp. Oh, I am not seeing an amp in there. How unfortunate. Anyway, that will do it for now though, so thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to click that like button, please subscribe to the channel, and I will be back soon with more Dungeon Defenders 2. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.